We're going live right now. We're live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special podcast, Lolcow Asylum, live from Boise, Idaho, from Darkness-Con. Can we hear you guys? Well, we have a special guest with us today, Naomi Grossman from American Horror Stories and the movie Him, and her own multiple, which goes, can you grab me a phone? Here, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, can you do that?
You're gonna go call somebody? Oh, you want to Google? Got it. It's like, let me get my phone.
No, I have show notes. Like,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
It might not look like I'm prepared, but you know, once in a while, I am prepared. Naomi, I want you to meet Lady Reaper. She's my co-host. She's joining us on the other side of the country. And she is in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Virginia.
Virginia. Who was one of those? I just couldn't figure it out. All right. So, how's Darkness-Con treating you?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I am glad you're here. Is it your first time to Boise, Idaho?
Yes.
Awesome. Let me just turn this up just a little. All right. Hey, look at me. People say, hey. Scott Gold says, hi, Reader.
Hello, everybody. I thought you said you couldn't read the chat.
Oh, now I can.
Okay.
So
Hey,
you all
Scott.
have
Hey, J-Dog.
all right.
I was like, where's the camera?
It's up there. Yeah, the green light. Once in a while that will move, but it's okay. I think Lady Reaper has a question for you, right?
Yes. Have you had any memorable fan encounters this weekend?
A vendor gave me the coolest glasses. I wish I remember her name. Shout her out. If you guys, tool around, you'll see there's some really cool stuff out there. And some authors, and I just like meeting and supporting fellow creatives.
Really nice. All right. So, in your early career, how did you first decide acting was what you wanted to do? Because most people are like, let's move to California, and I'm gonna get a waiting job, and I'm gonna become a famous actor. And it never happens. So what made you want to do that?
I mean, I did do that. From a really young age, I knew it's what I wanted to do. So by the time I was old enough to be able to move to California and get a waiting job, I'd already kind of, been asked. I mean, granted, I wasn't like supporting myself or anything. I was 11. I didn't have to. But at the same time, I kind of, when people are like, oh, what are you going to do when you grow up? I'm like, well, I'm kind of already an actor. You know what I mean? Like, I got my SAG card when I was 15, and I've done, I was kind of like, well, this is what I'm doing. Why would I? What else is there really? Honestly, I kind of begrudgingly went to a liberal arts school because my parents were like, you can't just do acting. You have to. What happened? Oh, there you go. So they wanted me to have a full education, but no, in my mind, there was nothing else, which was very myopic, but that's immaturity for you. I mean, I wish, like, in retrospect, like, I don't know. It's hard, like, when you have a kid that's like, tap dancing and jazz hands all day, every day, it's like, you can't, like, stunt that. Like, you don't want to, like, kill their, buzz. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not a reader. Like, if I were, I think I would be like, no, you were not acting. But like, what a hypocrite, you know what I mean? Because like, had my parents done that to me, I would have, I don't know, run away and like joined the circus. Like, I don't know. I sometimes think I kind of did. I kind of think of it honestly as like a kid would be like when a kid is like, Mom, whatever, and parents are like, no, you're not. We're sending you to Jesus camp. It's like you can't just pray it away. Like I am an actor, period. Like I can't. If I could have like, if I had a choice in the matter, especially in retrospect, knowing all that I know, I would have made a different choice. But like I didn't. I just I was born this way. What can I say?
So that being said, what was your first acting job? Professional acting job?
Yeah, I think. Now that I think about it, I did do some like regional commercials. I grew up in Denver, and so oh, that's where you live, right? Yeah. Um, but I always think of Father Dowling Mysteries as my first claim to fame, which is kind of embarrassing because it was on my resume for a lot, like way too long afterwards. Especially given that show has been on the air for hundreds of years. But yeah, that was.
Oh, we lost her again.
Did you ever imagine horror would be such a huge part of your career?
No. I kind of joke that I like fell down a horror hole. Like I didn't see this coming at all. I always really fancied myself a comedian, and I always figured this business is so hard. Like find your niche, get your gimmick, figure out what you do best, and just do that. And so I assumed it was like 3 to 5 minute sketch comedy, and so, I spent a lot of times at the Groundlings and other comedic theaters in Los Angeles. And if you go, on YouTube, you can fall down quite the rabbit hole seeing some of my, early stuff, because that's how I sort of fancied myself. Now, it's funny, like I often think like, we can't really like micromanage the universe, you know what I mean? We don't necessarily know our path. I did know all along I was a character actor, clearly, but I didn't see it in horror per se. I thought it was, I imagined it in comedy, but at the same time, like, Pepper could totally be like with Toots as the cat in the car in SNL, right? I mean, I know that's like a really old reference. But I already told you I was on it Father Dowling, so everyone was like, wow, she's Benjamin Buttons to these. But, I'm just saying, like, I think comedy and horror, when you think about it, there's so many crazy horror characters that lend themselves to comedy and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about, like somebody with, like, knives for hands, that could be hilarious, right? There you go. He walks into a nail salon, like, what can you do for me? I don't know. So I do think, like, whether it's a comedic character or a horror character, I think it is just sort of a matter of sort of dialing that dial. Calibrating your performance, because there were times when I could really like let it rip on American Horror Story, like, I don't know, the name game, and then others where I had to really like bring it down and be subtle and grounded and real. So, they say like comedic actors make some of the best dramatic actors. I don't know if it goes both ways, but yeah.
This is probably about now, what, the 5th time I've interviewed you. First time, like, live, when we're live on YouTube and all that. But every single time I ask her a question, it always leads into the next question I'm going to ask. Like, she knows what I'm thinking. We talked about American Horror Story. When you first auditioned, what did you know about the role?
Nothing. keep these things very, very secretive. The breakdown, which is basically like an electronic listing that goes out to all the agents and managers, just mentioned they were seeking female actress, 4 to 5 feet tall, possibly malformed, childlike. That's it. So there was no mention of like, you know, microcephaly or pinhead or any of this. You know, I knew not to wear, you know, high heels or a plunging neckline. Like they needed me to look, you know, short and childlike. But I really didn't have much more than that. They gave me a scene of Jessica Lange's to do from season 1, and they also gave me a ball, and they asked me to improvise, try to get them to play with me as if I were a 4-year-old. So I knew there was something very unique about this audition because, you know, film and TV, like if they need a 4-year-old, they'll cast a 4-year-old. Like, why would they cast a million-year-old to play a 4-year-old? But you know, now in retrospect, I get it. They were trying to see if I had that range, so I could go from the, you know, early, playful, innocent Pepper to the older, or not older, but just evolved alien abducted Pepper. So, but yeah, I mean, literally, there was nothing that would indicate what they were up to. It wasn't really until I was in the makeup chair. My callback was really just a meeting with makeup. They took a bunch of pictures of me, which they then manipulated to see what I would look like with the makeup. And it wasn't just me, this was a callback. They like had all the actresses, they were paying attention to this. And it was actually the gentleman who just won the Oscar for Frankenstein, for Guillermo del Toro's most recent movie. He got the Oscar for that makeup. It was his job to consult Ryan Murphy at the moment and say, she's gonna look the best. So I owe it to him. And yeah, then once I was cast, I was, you know, in the makeup chair, and they were the ones that really told me. Like, they were like, you know, you're gonna look like this, so you're gonna probably want to act accordingly. It's crazy to be getting your like directorial advice from, you know, the makeup people, but that's how it went.
So, what was your first reaction when you found out you were playing Pepper?
Well, again, I didn't even know what that meant. I mean, I figured it out pretty quickly. Like, I remember one of those makeup people coming in and like seeing me for the first time and saying, so this is she's the fun one. She's the one who gets to, you know, like I could tell like I was sort of like chosen. Whereas again, up until that point, again, let's not forget, I was waiting tables, right? And doing pretty much anything and everything else. So I was just happy to have a job. Like I figured I was just one of like an army of pinheads. Like it never even occurred to me that I was gonna be like the most actually crazy little style. So, you know, that was news to me. But yeah, you know, and even then I was like, I remember on set, Ryan Murphy doing kind of like a little tour around the day room, and he would sort of spend time with each of the inmates, and I remember at one point, like I was just there playing with string, and he came up and said, "That was the best." And ka-ching, that's what you want. And you know, and so soon afterwards, there were, you know, people stopping me on the street for selfies, and you know, I like spot like Pepper for President posters on telephone poles, and you know, and all of a sudden, like overnight, I'd have like 1 million Facebook requests, and I'd see, you know, my face tattooed on someone's upper thigh. Unfortunate place for Pepper's face, but okay. Anyway, it was just all of a sudden it came pretty. It got really weird really fast.
So Pepper became one of the most loved characters in the franchise, I would say. Did you expect that kind of reaction from the fans at all?
No, I mean, again, when I first was cast, I assumed I was just like like an extra, or maybe I was being punked, you know what I mean? At any moment, I expected Ashton Kutcher to just jump out of the bushes at me. Because this, I don't know, I've been at it for so long, and yet with, you know, I've been like competing for hits against cat videos, you know what I mean? I've been like killing myself to no avail, and so for it all of a sudden things to be like shining on me, it didn't seem real.
Am I skipping down?
Yes,
Could you-
sorry. So I think so Pepper appeared both in Asylum and
There we go.
Freak. Was it exciting going and revisiting the character from the first time you played her to the second?
Oh yeah, I mean, and that also never happened at that point, you know, when they said that, I was like, that sort of paradigm shift, you know, like that was unprecedented. And especially, you know, it was exciting because I was not just playing Pepper, I was playing Pepper 10 years prior. So even though 2 years had gone by, I was now like a younger, sprier, you know, so that part was interesting too. You know, my fat suit was a little thinner. I had more, you know, more freckles, like little, and of course everything about me had to just, you know, we changed, right? So I had to change, but stay the same.
Ready to have a question? Just pick one.
What? Just pick one. Was there a scene that was especially emotional to film?
Yeah, I mean that Orphans episode, the episode I think 10 of Freak Show. I mean, honestly, like every day was a new day. Like, you know, Jessica Lange is used to just being like a geyser, like just turning the switch and like taking waterworks. And like, you know, let's face it, I can't say I wasn't prepared. Like I've been only preparing for this moment my whole life. But at the same time, I mean, I've been like doing all this comedy and even in the Freak Show, it was, you know, it was string and delivering the family food and like, you know, it was the first time that all of a sudden like I had real pathos and you know, acting chops to show. So that was that whole episode. I mean, they do sort of like 10 days. Like we shoot like an episode takes about 10 days to 2 weeks. And so it was just a lot, you know, all of a sudden like, okay, crying again today. And you know, the things that make you cry the first day are different than things a week later, you know? And I mean, do I have one scene in particular? I think, you know, I have a real fondness for that very last scene where I'm in the, I guess it's Asylum, when I'm with Sister Mary Eunice and that, you know, paddle walls. I remember thinking, first of all, oh my God, they just built an asylum here in New Orleans. Like, the asylum was 2 years ago in LA, and here we are, like, wow. And I remember them like showing me the walls, and like, we padded the walls, so you could actually bang your head, and I'm like, oh my God, again, like only American Horror Story, like, that's the level of you know, artistry, like they're padding the walls for the actors. And yeah, I remember shooting that scene at like 4 in the morning, and at that point, I think I was just so tired. Like the tears were coming at that point, just like that was just exhaustion. I was like, this will be the last tear I cry for a while. Yeah.
So many of you might see many of us may see you around town. Do fans still recognize you as Pepper first?
Yeah, I mean, that's how people know me, and, I get it, like, it's funny, like, certain places I'm more likely to be recognized, I have a real affinity the right word, there's a, yeah, uh, affection for the gay community, and so whenever I go to gay bars, it's like, oh, we're playing the name game again. So I think, that's a place I get very easily recognized. I don't tend to look like myself, but I think at this point, because I cover and I don't look anything like, and for that matter, everything I've ever been asked to practice is something, quite divergent from myself, but I like it that way. Like, I wanna be a chameleon, I don't wanna play myself. Like, if I wanted to do that, I don't know, join Love Island or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna be a
How many people would pay to see Pepper on Love Island? I would.
Yes.
What makes horror fans different from fans from any other genre?
I mean, I don't even, listen, I am a comedy fan, but comedy fans don't do this. They don't get together and all wear a certain color and, tattoo things on their bodies and or maybe, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I have many friends that are done very well for themselves in comedy, and they do not have a room dedicated to their fan art of their character. They just don't, and I don't know what that is. I think horror fans are just like a whole next level. They're diehard, passionate, committed, loyal. I'm owe so much. I mean, listen, I would say horror loves me, and therefore I love horror. And it's not to say that I don't love horror independent of that, but I really love horror because it loves me. Just saying.
I was allowed one, so I would just say that we're pretty much badass. Better than ever. I think Reaper has our next question for you.
So, why do you think horror has remained so popular?
Well, the Terrifier clown art thinks. No, I don't know. It just seems like it's having a new renaissance, doesn't it? Just now, I read about a new exhibit at this Academy Museum in Los Angeles. They're going to be doing a whole featuring horror for the next, I don't know, 9 months or something. I mean, let's face it, the Academy is notorious for sort of poo-pooing horror. What horror movies other than Weapons have you seen win an Oscar, And yet now all of a sudden they're doing an entire exhibit. It's awesome. Finally, it's about time. But yeah, I mean, I think between listen, I'm really behind on all my, trade papers, but I do feel between Backrooms and Obsession and all these, lower budget horror movies that are just cleaning up, I think it's good. People are starting to realize, oh, you mean we don't have to just see Marvel movies. There's more out there. Movies don't have to cost gazillions of dollars, and they don't have to star these major names. Movies can look however we want to make them look, and so it's an exciting time for horror.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you could play any classic horror villain, okay, a classic horror villain, who would it be?
I don't know if she can. Oh gosh, that's so hard.
I usually get one hard question.
Yeah. I mean, part of me, she's not really horror, so I like, there's a part of me that would just love to be like a Cruella de Vil, like, you know, like, and again, it's not really horror, but just a woman that like walks around with a big coat of dogs. But, you know, at the same time, I love like Rosemary's Baby. I'm sadly probably too old to play Rosemary, but I could be that crazy old lady at the tea party, you know, who's like looking down at the. In fact, whenever I've seen that movie, I'm like, God, I am that lady. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's so many good female roles. So that's a hard one. That's yeah.
Is there a is there a horror role you've always wanted but haven't had yet?
I don't know if there is a horror role I mean, yes, of course, all the roles. I want all the roles. Uh, you know, I mean, I shouldn't say I'm not a writer because I actually am, but I'm not. I tend to use myself as my own muse, and so like anything I've ever created or written is generally because it's autobiographical. Like, you know, like my show American Horror Story is all about some of my history of hustling in Hollywood. So the horror is not a promiscuous one, although I've been that too. It's more of a, you know, woman who does what she's got to do to get what she wants, right? Like waiting tables or whatever, you name it. But anyway, I say that because I'm kind of right now I've got kind of percolating this new. I don't know what it is, if it's going to be a feature or maybe another one on the show, who knows? I at least know how to do that. About my time in a cult, which I recently found myself in a cult, unbeknownst to me. So when you ask like, what characters could you imagine? I'm not that person. I can kind of only imagine characters that I've been, that I am, you know. That said, there are so many characters in history that I feel like need to be told. Like, I mean, it's such a gross story, but the whole Elaine Maxwell character, she is evil AF, and I think I look less like her now that my hair is grown out, but man, like that's a horror character, you know. I don't know if the world wants to see that story. I don't know. I think like there's so many interesting women out there. Like I think, you know, Hillary Clinton is like a crazy character when you think about it. Like just with that, what she's her trajectory or fall, however you wanna, you know, that's interesting to me. I think people who face like major that's kind of what excites me. So and sorry, that's not really an answer.
That's fine. All right. So do we have any questions from the audience? All right, come on over here. Let's do this over here too, just so we can see, just in case we have some questions from the chat. All right. What's your question?
Hi, you said earlier that if you could look back, you would maybe not act or you would change your trajectory. Looking back, what would you have done in your next act or whatever?
Okay, so I don't know if everybody was able to hear that. What would I, if I could have done it all over again, I wouldn't have done what I done. No. What would I do in my next act? Again, it's totally naive of me to say like I would not have been an actor because that would have required like a total lobotomy, by the way, like because there was no way that was going to happen under any circumstance. Like I was hell bent on being an actor, and it's why I'm an actor now because believe me, like I was tested for so long, and my own mother even at a certain point was like, you know, she was OG fan club, but like, how long are you gonna give us, you know? But there was, you know, there was just no deterring me, and I do think that that's like part of it. That said, I do think that unless you are that passionate, I think you're setting yourself up for like a long life of misery. and there's even as passionate as I am and was, there's still misery. So it's just hard. That's all. I think I just really naively thought I could just you know, just because I you know fell into a few roles singing and dancing, that's not the work. Like there's a whole lot more to it, and also as actors we just have so little control. I think people think we're like, what are you coming back for? You know, it's like, I don't know, you don't understand, like that's not how this works. Like, and granted, it doesn't work to sit and wait for your phone to ring either, by the way. But it's just like that, again, as a control freak, that is extremely frustrating. That I don't have a little more, you know, control over my future. That said, the question really was, what would be in your next act? Here's the thing: if I could do it all over again, I would join the circus. I would be in Cirque du Soleil. I would be a contortionist and or acrobat. So like my plan B, even my plan B is kind of insane. You know, like one way or another, I needed the spotlight. Darkness-Con is quite dark, by the way. There's no spotlight, right? But yeah, one way or another, I needed kind of all eyes on me. You know, that's just, yeah. Believe me, if I would have been happy, I don't know, teaching Spanish or believe me, I did all those things, and I wasn't. And it's not to say that I couldn't like find my happiness, but really when you are in your element, when you find your happy place, which for me was on stage or set, it's like, oh, like this is what it's supposed to feel like, you know? I think it's kind of like, again, like being in love. Again, I wouldn't know these things, but they say like, when you know, you know. And I felt that way about acting. Like, oh, this is what it feels like. No going back.
Do you have any other questions here in-house or online? If you're online watching us live, drop your questions in that chat and we'll be able to get through as many as possible. Any questions out here? The human beings that actually like came here? You know? All right, well, we'll wait for more questions to come on.
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, you have a question for yourself?
Well, no, for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, well, you can correct me if you're like, no, that doesn't apply. So, who's listening, watching? Or is it people of Boise? Is it people of Boise and?
This is around the world.
Around the world.
This is here.
Okay, I have a question for the people of Boise. Where should I go watch Argentina beat Switzerland at 7 o'clock today? You don't have to answer all at once, I can see, but if you wanna come and tell me, if you have a suggestion, and I think I'm gonna have a 15-year-old with me, so maybe not a bar that they can't get into, that's all.
Good thing, too bad we were in Ireland, huh?
Ireland.
Yeah, because you can drink with it as long as you reach the top of the bar.
That might count her out. I'm short too, so I can make that joke.
I'm gonna count you out too.
Yeah, I would.
So, new movie that not just came out, about 7, 8, 9 months ago. The movie Him came out. Can you tell us about your role in that movie?
Yeah, well, she's the scariest part. I think think that was actually most people's objection to it, is it wasn't maybe scary enough. I thought it was a beautiful film. I think it was maybe marketed, only because they kind of, I felt like they were kind of trying to like really sell the football aspect and the like kind of like the commercial big blockbuster movie, you know, part. But really it's like an art house film. Like it's a really beautiful, well crafted movie. And I think it was honestly like I watched it 3 times. I didn't have to watch it 3 times, but I got more out of it each time I did. And so, you know, I suppose there could be people that would be like, wow, you have to see it 3 times, is it all that great? But I was like, no, but I mean, I was getting something more out of it each time. So I don't know. Unfortunately, you know, critics don't have the time to just watch movies over and over and over. I wish they did. I think they would have not panned it like they did. But you know, I'm proud of it. I thought I felt my role was really fun. Obviously, I'd really like to see more, but you know, I think I've heard that from the filmmakers as well, so that's flattering anyway. They do say you can't kill a good horror movie, so who knows? Maybe we'll see Marjorie again. I don't know.
What drew you to that project?
Again, I just want to work, but what drew them to me was my one-woman show. I did American Horror Story in Taos, New Mexico, which is a tiny little one-horse town where my mom lives. And they happened to be there. Jordan Peele's, you know, casting people were there, preparing for him, which we shot in Albuquerque. So, you know, it's one of those like beautiful stories. I've always said like, if you build it, they will come, and that's been my MO, you know, because again, like I can't control my future, but I can at least like put out my art and like hope someone's watching. And a lot of the time they haven't been, but sometimes they are. And sure enough, they were watching this, and that's what came of it. So.
Very much. I want to say hey to Gamer James in the chat, my friend. So he's right here. He said, hey. How is this character different from Pepper? Well, I know a lot different, but in that, you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, she's different in every way. I think, yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, I think I'm the only common denominator between the two of us. Like, I mean, I think, I don't know, they're both pretty, I mean, it's more like, what are their similarities is the bigger question. Like, I guess they both are passionate. You know, Pepper loves her meatloaf. Marjorie loves her Isaiah White, but other than that, like, I find if anything, it's more of a struggle to find things that, similarities between us, much less, you know, the differences are, there's like all the differences. It's, how can I relate to this person? You know, there's only so much that Pepper and I have in common, and that goes for Marjorie as well.
Okay, without spoiling anything, what can the audience expect with this movie?
From him?
Yes.
I think really beautiful visuals. I would encourage people to watch it on as big a screen as you possibly can find. It's definitely, there's layers, there's a lot more than just meets the eye. Yeah, I think you get out what you put in. Like if you're willing to take that deep dive and watch it and then think about it and maybe talk about it and then maybe even go back and watch it again, I think you'll get more out of it. Yeah, because it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love when I like see somebody watching it on an airplane, I'm like, that's me. You know, and like, it's not an airplane movie, like it's definitely like you wanna take it in, you know, it, when people are like texting me or they're like, I'm watching your movie, it's like, stop texting, like just properly watch the movie, you know? But I guess that's how we watch movies these days, but.
All right. So what was your favorite day on set? I know there's many between American Horror Story and Kim, but what's your favorite day set on either one?
Ooh, either or, that's really hard.
Well, you can do both.
But for him, it's like very easy. The day Marlon Wayans kissed me, I will never forget that. That was not in the script, that was total improv, and I did not see it coming. And it felt like 1,000 years, and yet I watched it, and it's like a second. No, it was just that was very fun for me. I mean, you know, can you blame me? No. Pepper never got any love. I mean, playing Pepper was always so much fun. Like, I don't know that there was like a day that was more fun than others. I think that if anything, when my role got beefier is when it became less fun. Only because, you know, I remember after I got abducted and was getting with the aliens, when I came back and, you know, it was like monologuing, that's when like the makeup people were like, you changed, you're not as fun as you were. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not here for your enjoyment. Like, I have like dialogue to, like, I can't just like grunt and like do like monosyllabic, you know, whatever. So I know I was less fun. And that was definitely the case in like Freak Show, like I said, that last episode, Orphans, I had all pistons firing. Like I was not like, fun Pepper during that time per se. I mean, I just lost my lover and I was being farmed off to the asylum and I was being accused of murder and rape, you know, how can you be having fun, you know, on the side? But I will say, I remember really distinctly seeing how the crew would treat me or behave around me early versus later, like, or just even compared to the other actors on set, like, they knew I wasn't an actual pinhead, right? Like, I assumed as much, like, we're making a TV show, like, we're all playing a role here, you know what I mean? Whether you're the guy holding the boom mic or the actor in the prosthetics. And yet, it was so funny to watch them, I mean, adult men, like, pull a finger, and it's just like, are you doing that to Jessica Lange? Like, I don't think so. And so, if anything, there was a part of me that was like quite flattered by that people knew that I was fun and funny and playful and but that's cover for you, right? I mean, that's what I was. That was I was cast to do, right? My lot in life at that point. Again, later on, I guess I wasn't so fun, and I heard all about it.
Well, I think you're a blast. So in the convention life, like you said, which is fairly new to you, what keeps you coming back to horror conventions and other conventions alike the horror conventions that we have here in Boise, Idaho, and in Pocatello coming up in October?
I mean, these are my people, right? I wouldn't have a career if it weren't for y'all. So I'm always want to give back and I enjoy it. It's fun. Like I said, I didn't know that my team was going to be here tonight. You know, that's the only thing. There's part of me. But other than that, I don't know where we're going to be, right? No, I love to travel. I love to meet people. I got bills to pay, so it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Even for Pepper.
Okay, what's the most unusual autograph request you've had?
I mean, I've had people ask me to sign their body for not like certain parts. But you know, for tattoo purposes, which is really weird to me. I mean, but then again, I don't have any tattoos. I'm probably the only person that's entire convention hall without a tattoo. But I'm just indecisive. I mean, I can barely decide what to wear on a given day. Like, so tattoos really would not be a good thing for me. I think that's the weirdest.
So have you ever had a fan story that really stayed with you?
Well, not that is appropriate. Mixed company or, you know, yes. But do you
That's
want,
an answer, that's an
do
answer.
we want to put the advisory on your YouTube video?
See, here's the thing, I'm not worried about the audience at home, I'm more worried about the audience here. But before I started this, Mike told me, listen, you can't swear.
Oh, you're swearing.
Yes, and I think I've heard this story before.
That's awesome.
And I said, you mean to tell me I have to not swear when 95% of my vocabulary has those words in it? And he said, yes. And I said, fuck it.
That word's in the story, so I'll stop.
All right. Let's get down to backup questions if there's some time on. Which role challenged you the most?
I mean, they're all challenging in their own way. I mean, it could be argued like Pepper's really challenging because I'm having to like communicate everything through my face, like without dialogue. Well, there's some, of course, but you know, very limited speech really, and to really like kind of penetrate those prosthetics. On the flip side, you know, my solo shows are 75 minutes to an hour to 90 minutes of me running my mouth without even so much as a breath. So like it's pick your poison. Like they're both hard. You know, it's hard to communicate without dialogue, and it's hard to spit out all those lines. Like I just spent the week actually watching footage from my from the comedy special we shot in Palm Springs in April, and man, I'm like, that was impressive, you know. So it's like I said, I didn't make it easy for myself, but again, I should have been on Love Island. What was I thinking?
Should have. River, do you want to ask that next question?
Have you ever turned down a horror role or any role for that matter?
Oh yeah, I hate it. I mean, I don't like. I want to do everything. I want to love everything, and not everything is worth my time or loving. Also, I can't. There's only one of me. I can't be in all the places all at once. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I don't want to like do all the SAG paperwork, and that sucks because it's like it's my union. It's supposed to be supporting me, and I feel like half the time it's like screwing me out of work. Yeah, it happens a lot.
What would be one thing fans would be surprised to learn about?
I'm such an open book that that's really hard, like what that I said myself about myself. I don't know, I once bought a car on eBay. I got my first credit card at like age 40, which is crazy, I think. Just that I would like keep cash in the box under my bed. Like, that long. I'm like I said, I'm really an open book, so there's not that much secret. Yeah.
If American Horror Story invited you back for another season, would you say yes?
I don't want to be. I don't. That is a Ryan Murphy question. That's not a, you know what I mean? Because like I said, like actors have very little say in these sorts of things, and like I'm not in a. I just told you I don't like to say no. I don't like to say no to anybody, much less Ryan Murphy.
Right.
But you know, again, I don't have a say in these things. So you're making this hypothetical as if, oh, would you
Right.
say yes? You mean I can say yes or no? Like I don't get those choices. Like, people have this idea like we're just sitting by our pools, like popping bonbons, going like pass, pass, pass. It doesn't happen. Like actors are anxious to work. Like why else do you think when you watch television, you're seeing like major stars in itty bitty dinky roles? Because even they're like, I want to work. Put me in, coach. So
Right.
it's a fair question. It's just not. It's not realistic. It's a hypothetical. It's not. Yeah.
Well, it's good to get that information from you guys to let us know that that's what you guys go through. So,
Is there a dream director that you love to work with?
Totally. Yes. Well, Guillermo del Toro, of course, or Auteur. Also Almodovar. I lived in Argentina, obviously. I've already outed myself as being not for Switzerland today. Not today. Although it's a beautiful country. I love chocolate and they have great watches and knives. That said, yeah, no, so Pedro Almodovar is one of my absolute favorites. There's a lot of cool, again, Spanish language. I'm actually going to be doing some Spanish language stuff soon, which I'm really excited about because, again, that's something that people don't necessarily know about me, that I'm completely fluent in Spanish. For whatever reason, you know, I just think people tend to be racist, like they see a blonde and they think, oh, couldn't possibly, but actually I do. So anyway, so yeah, I have a couple Spanish language horror films that I'm gonna be working on soon. But yeah, Cuarón is another director. What's the guy who did Papel? Iñárritu, I did do a commercial with them once.
Never guessed that.
Yeah, well, who would? Yeah, it's true. But no, he directed a iPhone commercial that I did that ended up never airing. I mean, but it was literally like one of the biggest productions I've ever seen. Which I mean, it makes sense. They have this like outdoor director with this like company that's just like made of money, like. Yeah, of course it was like the biggest production ever. Anyway, it never did, so I can talk all about it, I guess. Or maybe I don't know. They stopped paying me to shut up, so.
Your turn, Mary.
If Pepper could meet one horror icon, who would she choose and why?
Oh gosh. I mean, who would want to play? Who wants to play? Right? I think.
Parker Clown, he's around here somewhere.
Yeah, I think she would just want to play. Whoever wants to play with Pepper, Pepper wants to play with. Like, I don't think she's terribly discerning. You know, she's not like one of these like you can't sit with us. Like she wants to sit with everybody. So yeah. I mean, I don't really see her and Michael Myers like really getting on. You know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of that would be an odd couple. But yeah, I can see, you know, her and Art for sure. I love how he like turned around like, oh, you call?
But what you can't say is that this art is here, the guy, audience at home can't see, but Art's here and he's looking at me quite creepily. And he's carrying a bag of.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wait, you guys, okay, you have to go back in time, erase that entire section about how I don't know what horror character I would play in history, because it just came to me. I have to play Gladys, Aunt Gladys's like, I don't know, either younger self or little sister or whatever. Amy Madigan's character in Weapons blew my mind, and that is what I want. I want that career, I want that role, I want that trajectory. I would like an Oscar by that time of my life. Please.
Always speak that right into existence. So, any upcoming projects that the fans should be kind of like looking out for you, where you're gonna pop next, you know?
Yeah, the industry is changing so much right now, it's absolutely wild. And good news is yes, but I just got to Cannes Film Festival and I met so many people and I can't even tell you like the opportunities that were born out of that trip, like it was unbelievable. And so yeah, I mean, I've got a few cool horror picks coming up. I don't want to say anything more yet because ink's not dry, we haven't shot it, like anything can happen. Like in this business, like, you know, it's like, I keep giving these analogies. It's like being pregnant, again, something I would know nothing about. But until the baby's like a certain level, like don't just let off. Like so I don't wanna say anything, it's still too early to say, but I've got some really cool things ahead and yeah, which is exciting, especially because like I said, right now it doesn't seem like there's anything ahead. Like it feels very doom and gloom right now in Hollywood, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. Anyone have any questions before we kind of wrap up? No? Yes? Come on, ask your question. You can do it.
Don't be shy.
It's okay. Reaper won't hurt you. I promise. If she does, I don't know, turn off the projector or something.
Yeah, because I have super reach.
I don't know if that's a question, but you mentioned like you think of yourself as a character actor, and I think character actors are some of the more difficult ones. So they're constantly reinventing themselves. When you come to a role, like how do you approach that as a character actor? When you're having to completely reinvent yourself for this new character.
Okay. It was a little hard to hear.
So,
No. Eat the mic.
No, oh,
There you go.
jeez. So as a character actor, how do you because each character is so uniquely different. Like, how do you like reinvent yourself? How do you approach that when you come to a new character?
It's a great question. And everyone has their own process, obviously, and I feel like every character is different too. I mean, like in the case of Pepper, I think, you know, she's so physical. In that case, I tend to go from the outside in, and I sort of mimicked Schutzy, who was the real life microsympathetic person, after whom she was modeled. So I really like nailed his walk, talk, gait, gestures, the whole thing. And then I went and did the inside too, kind of filled in the holes. Because while the audience may not actually find out my backstory, which they did 2 years later, but even without like that awesome, you know, episode or backstory that they ultimately endowed me with, I needed to have one, whether or not the show showed it or not, right? And to be a full character, right? Just like you have a full story that I'm not privy to, right? But you have one, and that's what part of what makes you a real person, like a full character. Anyway, that tends to be my process outside in, just because I am such a kind of physical actor. But it really depends on the character. I also, I almost tend to think of it like you put on like glasses and you see the world through a different lens, right? And like I'm about to start working on this new character who's the boss. She's an evil boss, but I don't believe in just like pure evil, like someone's just like out to kill, like you know, her opponents. Like I believe that this person sees the world as like less than, and like her minions, like she is the top and they are scum. And that is how I'm like, I don't feel that way. I'm quite the opposite. But like that is the lens that I'm choosing to like wear for this character, and it infuses everything. Like everything I say, all of a sudden I'm sort of like, I'm a jerk. I'm such a B word in this role, because yeah, someone who like treats you as inferior, that's what they are, right? So anyway, it's awfully fun to play. And so that I think would be my current MO, my like tactic du jour is like, how does this character see the world? Like what's her relationship to others, and how does she even, you know, perceive herself? Because it's true, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with the Enneagram, which is like a personality test. They say that we all fall somewhere on it, and like, you know, whether you're a caregiver, I don't know if you're a caregiver, I just find you very caring. I'm a performer, and it's not just because I've literally chosen to perform as my, you know, vocation, but rather I really light up. Like when I have people watching, like I feel I'm in my element. When I go home and I'm like home alone, I'm like so sad because you guys aren't there. So that's me, right? But the point is, I think we all fall somewhere on that Enneagram. We as people, but also characters, right? So I have, again, that's another fun like tool for me as an actor to be like, what is this character? Like, she's a boss. She's this. She's a that. So, I mean, I think that's my short answer, but that's really long. So sorry.
You're good. Lady, do you have any closing comments, concerns, or comments? You know.
I just want to thank you for allowing us to do this interview with you. It's been wonderful. It was good meeting you. I wish I could be there in person. I want to thank everybody for watching there and through YouTube.
Awesome. Well, Naomi, thank you so much for joining us. We also want to thank Darkness-Con and House of Darkness nonprofit for hosting us and having us here. I want to thank our live audience for being there. I want to thank our audience at home. Those that are wondering where you can find our podcast, we are on YouTube. You can search Lolcow, L-L-L, cow _ asylum, and you can find us on YouTube. Those that are watching at home, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Next week's show is Lolcow of the Week. We're not too sure who we're discussing just yet, but we'll see who it is. Other than that, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us here at Darkness-Con. We thank Naomi for joining us. And everyone at home, we'll see you next week. Take care of one another, but most importantly, take care of yourself. Have fun.